Okay, so they've been in the fridge for a little bit longer. This is going to be the last part of this tutorial, and then I'm going to do a separate one to show you how to just add the added extra features, including the main part, the fur, which does take quite a while, but it's worth it in the end. So we're going to take this off the cake drum, just slide it off like that, move that to one side. And this is why it needs to be in the fridge. Because now I'm going to peel away the base, put my hand underneath. You will be covered in buttercream by the time you've done this, but the legs aren't coming off. And I'm going to place it on my decorated 14-inch cake drum. Perfect. Right. The cake. Now here I've got some cake dowels. I've got 5 of them. A pencil. This is a pipe cutter. You can use a ratchet cutter instead, but I find this works perfectly. This is just the base of one of my 4-inch cake tins, so I know where to put the cake down. So we're going to start off with that. I'm just going to simply put that on the top, and then using a knife, just gently engrave the fondant underneath. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's just so you know whereabouts that cake is going to go. And that's your little guide. You can see that. Little round circle just there. So now we're going to add some cake dowels. So I'm going to put one in the centre first. Push all the way down, and another reason to wait until it's on the cake drum is because it's also going through this fondant that you've put on your cake drum. So if you do it before you put it on the cake drum, technically that cake has got a bit of leverage to push further down and make your cake bulge out. Using my thumb, I'm just going to put my thumb there, mark it and pull out. Pencil, non-toxic pencil. And then it's as simple as this. You just pop it into your pipe cutter. You can get much easier cake dowels to cut with, and they look a bit like straws, and you can just use scissors on those ones. There we go. And that goes in like so. Okay, so I'm going to speed this up so I don't bore you to death, and just continue with the rest of them. And that's the final cake dowel. So if I show you that now, you can see there's 5 cake dowels in there. I don't know if you need a closer image. There we go. And that is going to support our head of the cake. Next job, buttercream. I'll just push these to one side for now because we've done with all of those. Just to stick the head on. Don't worry if you go over the edges, because we've got an awful lot of fur to add to this and an awful lot of detail. This is basically just our blank canvas, but plenty of buttercream, because again, if it is a hot day, it is best to pop these in the fridge if they're just before transportation. Don't keep them in the fridge unless it's completely necessary. But if you do pop them in the fridge before transportation, they will be more protected. Okay, so I'm going to place on the head. Again, just peeling it away. It's on a cake board, this, like I mentioned, so I'm just going to try and align that up with. Perfect. Now it still doesn't look like a teddy bear, granted, but before you know it, if I just pull that further forward so you can see what we've done so far. We've got our legs, our head, and now the next job is the eyes, which will be the character, the fur, the ears, you name it, it's going to look amazing. Okay, so now it's time for us to add the final parts to the bear. If you haven't seen the first part of the tutorial, it is on my YouTube channel. Okay, so I've already made these in advance to save time, and we're going to start by gluing them on. They're really simple shapes, the ones that I've made. So for example, for the feet, all I've done is cut out a round circle, but in a darker brown. We don't want them to be all the same colour, that'd be boring. So a little bit of edible glue. Okay, and just pop that on there like so. The more simple you keep things, you'll find the better things do tend to turn out. It's when you start to get a little bit, oh, maybe if I do this, that and the other, and then simple's always the best. So I've cut out the same sized circle for each foot. There we go. Now my favourite part is the mouth and the nose. The eyes, bear in mind, will be added last. So I've just done that using my fingers, literally. I haven't used any cutters whatsoever. I've just used a simple tool to put these indentions into the fondant. This is what this is, it isn't modelling paste. And again, this one is slightly heavier because it is bulky, but due to all the fur that we're going to be putting on there, it needs to be more bulky. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop him on first. You might find he starts to slide down. I'll pop him about there, I think. So a little tip I have found. Yeah, he's going to slide down. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take them off for a second and pop him that way. I should have got these out previous. A few cocktail sticks, just while the glue's still setting. Works wonders. So if I put that there now, and then I'm going to pop a cocktail stick there, straight into the cake. Remember, this is all getting covered in fur, so don't be worrying about holes. One there. It's holding him, but we want him to be really secure. And that will just help whilst the edible glue is setting. So still gently press it down. Make sure it's all in contact with your cake so it can set. He's a little cutie and he hasn't even got any fur. Okay then, I'm going to put on the ears. Again, I've used a nice dark brown for the ears. All I did for this is cut one large circle, cut it in half with a knife, and I've just made that shape using my fingers. It's very pliable fondant, which is why I love it so much. I just need to get in front, because then to make sure this doesn't come off, we need to push it down. And we need to do this on both sides. But it is going to be getting covered in fur, but we need to make sure these ears don't move and that they stay on. So there's edible glue if we're pushing into the fondant as well. End it with a lovely shape. Okay, and the other piece. And that. Try and get this on par with that one. So it looks about right. And then keep looking from the top. That can be a good indication as well. Okay, let's push that a little bit further back. That's lovely. Oh, we've got two beautiful ears. And because I've pushed those in, bear in mind they are going to be covered in buttercream in a moment. We're getting there with our lovely little bear. Okay, now I bet you're thinking all of that hard work and it doesn't look like a bear yet. This is why the buttercream is so crucial. This is what brings it to life, apart from the eyes. You'll find the eyes on anything are always the most important element, which is why we're doing those last, because they need to go on top of the buttercream.